What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Recently, we took a look at Shock of God and how bad he is with biblical history. And you know what? He took notice of that and decided to take a few pop shots at me in his recent video.
Godless engineer, he's watching this. He is a fan of my videos. He has no purpose in life. He may think it's to eat burritos, but no.
Well, today we're going to discuss Shock of God and his shockingly childish ad hominem attacks against me. If you're interested in this, then please stay tuned.
Smoke weed every day.
So, as always, Shock of God starts out with his false equivalence fallacy.
You know, would you think I was lying to you if I said that this motorcycle just popped into existence uncaused out of nothing? Over billions of years, it just put itself together? Or would you say the truthful answer and the truthful comment is that this is a product of intelligent design? Of course you would say this is a product of intelligent design. You want to hear something amazing? Did you know that this motorcycle is less complex than your body or my body, with its respiratory system, its brain, its eye, our eyes, the way the eye is designed, your arteries, your lungs? So if it would be stupid and a lie to say that this motorcycle is not the product of intelligent design, it's actually a lie to say that it isn't. We must say that it is a lie to say that the human body is not a product of intelligent design, because it is.
This is a false equivalence fallacy, an argument from design, and an argument from complexity, all wrapped up in under a minute. I have to say, that is 3 shitty arguments per minute. Shock of God is a pro at this. Obviously, the crotch rocket he has is designed. There are no natural processes that can explain a motorcycle coming together naturally. But this results in a false equivalence fallacy when he tries to compare it to the human body. For one thing, our bodies operate differently, and while we may be more complex than a motorcycle, we have natural processes that can explain how we actually evolved into our current state. We do not need to insert a magical god here to explain this shit. So let's just imagine for a second that we compare these 2 ideas. One, the scientific idea, where we have all of these explanations and lines drawn for different nodes where we explain the exact process of how we came to be humans. Meanwhile, Shock of God just draws a cloud in the middle of the diagram, writes God on it, and is done for the day. He has no good evidence to support the conclusion that he comes to. For Shock of God, this is the basic God of the gaps argument, because while he doesn't understand the science behind evolution and the progression of how we came to be in our present state, he assumes that God was needed in order to make all of this shit as complicated as it is in order for it to make sense. So science has a list of things that explains in detail how shit happened. Shock of God just inserts his chode dick of a god into the middle of it with no evidence to support it. That's what I call intellectual honesty right there.
Here's what we're going to talk about today, the 6 stupid things that atheists believe in. We're going to be taking the motorcycle and talking to you. Number 1, atheists say they don't believe in hell. We're going to talk about how stupid that is. Number 2, atheists say they have a purpose. Number 3, they say that they believe in evolution. I'm going to show you how creationism is more rational than evolution. They also say that Christians are atheists. They just go one God more. We're going to show you how atheists mess up on that. Christians are not atheists. And then, of course, they say they don't believe in God.
He doesn't do any of this except for maybe the first 2 things.
Atheists are scared of hell. There's an atheist on YouTube that is at least honest about it. His name is Cosmic Skeptic. He has a video saying he's an atheist and he's scared of hell. Well, at least he's honest about it. So, atheists are terrified of hell?
If you actually watch the video instead of just reading the title and using it to spin your own narrative, you'll see Alex recounting how the doctrine of hell has emotionally affected him in his life. He even goes as far as to call it emotional abuse to teach a child the doctrine of hell. And I can't say that I disagree with him. I mean, the doctrine of hell would tell a child that they are deserving of eternal torment in hell, where they will burn and everything like that. That's emotional abuse to a child. And that's exactly what Cosmic Skeptic, or Alex, was saying in his video. How that doctrine of hell affected him to the point of, even though he doesn't believe in hell, he's still negatively affected by the idea. Obviously, I don't think that all religious teachings are abusive or child abuse, but the doctrine of hell is just abusive to anybody that it's used on. In my interviews with other atheists, the doctrine of hell has actually been one of the things that's harder for them to shake off. Fortunately, hell wasn't a very big topic in my religious groups. To act like the emotional abuse of anyone, let alone a child, is a good thing is just disgusting to me.
My atheist friends, you will go to hell. You definitely will go to hell, even though you are saying that you don't believe in it.
Gotta exist first in order for me to go there. Go fuck yourself, Shock of God.
The solution? Do what I did. I'm an ex-atheist. Just admit that you're a sinner. Everyone knows you are, my atheist friends. Repent of your sin and turn to Jesus Christ. Very simple, very rational, very logical.
Nah, sin's a made-up thing, and I wasn't born into sin or born with sin. I mean, if you have some kind of shame or guilt over yourself, maybe you need to talk to a therapist or a psychologist or something. I'm not gonna suck J-Dog dick just because you think he controls shit down here.
I'm going to prove to you right now that atheists have no objective purpose in life. They could have a make-believe purpose, but no real purpose in life. And by the time I'm done with this, you, the atheist viewer, you will admit that you have no purpose in life.
I do, in fact, have a purpose in this life. I mean, I choose to actually live this life instead of hiding under a God belief. That's not to say that everybody that believes in God sort of hides under their belief and doesn't live their life. Obviously, people do. But I've realized that this is the only life that I have, and I'm not going to spend one more minute praying or begging somebody else to forgive me for nothing that I did wrong. And I don't think anybody has an objective purpose in life. I think it's all very subjective, and more importantly, you are the one that gives your life purpose. Not some god in the sky or in the celestial realm or outside of reality or anything like that. You do. Now, Shock will tell you that the objective purpose of life is to worship that almighty God dong. That's fine if he wants to do that, but to say that everybody needs to do that just shows how narcissistic you are. You see, Shock seems to equate his own personal purpose in life with an objective purpose in life that everybody should have. That's not how anything works, Shock of God.
Godless engineer, he's watching this. He is a fan of my videos. He has no purpose in life. He may think it's to eat burritos, but no. The amazingly hellbound atheist is watching this video. He's a fan of my videos. Yes, he has no purpose in life. The entire cast of the Atheist Experience show, please click share and send this to them to show them that they really have no purpose in life. They will admit it to you live on the air. Aaron Raw, Thunderfoot, Richard Dawkins, I mentioned, Sam Harris, Lawrence Krauss. None of these atheists have a purpose in life.
You don't know me, motherfucker. Also, TJ Kirk probably doesn't give a fuck about you. In fact, you probably haven't been a twinkle in his mind for a very long time. I do have to say the fact that I was singled out, not only that, but singled out first in this long line of incredible people, it's pretty good to hear. Obviously, I do have a purpose in this life, as I've already laid out. While it's not your purpose in life, that's okay. Everybody can have a different purpose. No amount of childish burrito talk is going to get you anywhere with me, SA.
The next time Godless engineer makes a video with his pudgy little face, You just want to get his cheeks and go, brugga, 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 brugga. Someone needs to tell him gluttony is a sin. Anyways, the next time Godless Engineer does a video, we need to tell him, look, why are you wasting what little time you have? You're going to die, and eventually the universe is going to die, so none of it really matters.
Oh, first of all, don't touch me, motherfucker. I don't know where your hands have been. Probably up God's asshole or something. I'm just saying, respect my personal space, please. Love the fat jokes, bro. That's the first time I've ever heard that one. It all does matter, though. See, Shock of God doesn't think that it all matters to me or whatever because his endgame is heaven, but mine isn't. This is more the narcissism that Shock of God suffers from. Everyone has to have his idea of life and the afterlife, otherwise everything is just pointless. And it's simply not true. The things that I do, that you do, affect the people around us. I mean, last year, KC and I raised over $1,000 in peanut butter for Haitian orphans. And I mean, we help out numerous people in our daily lives, all to make this world suck a little bit less. And to be honest, that's really all anybody can hope to accomplish. Make this world suck a little less. I mean, that's a pretty good goal or objective, right? KC and I strive to give our lives meaning and to positively affect the community around us.
Godless Engineer is just wasting his life. He'd be better off to go to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Assholes like Shock of God insult people like this because of the shame that he puts himself through. It's so that they can feel better about themselves through the denigration of others. Obviously, I'm not wasting my life. I make each day count, and regardless of your religious affiliation, I hope that you guys do too.
And if you really ask them, what is your purpose? They will not be able to say they have an objective purpose because in the end, it was all for nothing. So right now, atheists, even you must admit that in your atheist worldview of madness, you have no objective purpose. I'm not saying you can't pretend. You could pretend like what you're doing is purposeful, but it's not.
Did you notice the switch there? From purpose to objective purpose? I mean, that's very dishonest of you because obviously we can describe what our purpose is right now. But what you want is some kind of overarching general objective purpose for our lives. And for you, that's worshiping God, which is totally fine. But you see, you got that narcissism problem that causes you to denigrate others that don't have your own belief. I mean, I guess you could put together a generalized purpose, but I mean, that would just be to live and survive. That really doesn't tell you anything about me or what I think my purpose is. I feel as though I have multiple purposes in this life. Right now, my purpose is to expose people to how shameful and small you actually are. To display to people that these ad hominems that you're levying at me just come from a place of insecurity and self-hate. Being a good father and a good husband are also purposes in my life that I take very seriously. So there is no one purpose to someone's life. And to be quite honest, there probably shouldn't be. I mean, that would be really boring, wouldn't it?
Recently, I challenged Godless Engineer, Matt Dillahunty, Sam Harris to answer this question, and all three of them failed. I would like you to contact them and ask them this question, and they're going to get very upset at you. Here's the question. What proof and evidence can you provide that would finally at last prove that atheism is accurate and correct? And you know that the...
Well, that's a dumb fucking question to ask. There may very well be a God. I don't know, but I also don't believe a God exists. There hasn't been any evidence that's been presented that is sufficient enough to prove that a God exists. So, for right now, the most likely option is that a God probably doesn't exist. Another problem with this question is that it demands a finite answer which we don't actually have. We can figure out what's most likely true, but we probably won't ever really know.
Amazing Atheists, Godless Engineer failed also, and Matt Dillahunty failed. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. The only one that is failing is you. You failed to convince me that I need to worship a god. And you failed at insulting me. And you even fail at making interesting content because this is the exact same type of video that you always produce. Every single time.
This is a challenge to Godless engineer Matt Dillahunty and Richard Dawkins. What is your objective purpose in life? And don't say eating burritos. We already know that.
Thank you, heathens, for joining me today. I hope that you will go down below, leave me a comment of what you think about Shock of God and his arguments here about the purpose of life and hell and all that kind of stuff. While you're down there, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice, and I will see you heathens later.